COVID-19 epidemic is probably the biggest economical factor in 2020 and maybe 2021. We'll see. The vaccines are coming online next month and January and probably in February. So we will expect that the economical restrictions will ease in the developed world. The COVID-19 changed the position of China very much. This country is even more important than it was last year. And what about India? And we ask this question to Professor Zbigniew Krysiak, Warsaw School of Economics, who also teaches in India and is very much aware of development in that country. What is the size of the pandemic of coronavirus in India? Is it comparable to the situation in Europe?
Yeah, it seems to be that this is, the number of infections, if we check the number of infections and compared to the Europe, this is just nothing, The population of India, 1.3 billion, compared to the Europe, which was, altogether around 600 million. Okay, so India is basically not so much impacted from the economical perspective as well by this pandemic. Of course, partly it can be a reason of different climate, The climate was a very high temperature, but as well, the style of the businesses happening and the very diversified activities and the very many small businesses in this country. This is a factor which helps, to keep the economy in the good stage. So I just can mention, that the GDP of India is bigger, a little bit bigger from the UK, United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, was occupied many years ago, India. And this, the development of the economy in India is going to be increasing. I am teaching, in fact, in New Delhi and the Calcutta, where you have New Delhi is something like around 20 million people, which is a half of Poland, and the Calcutta is close to that number as well. So, but if you go outside these big, cities, you of course face cities so big size like Warsaw, but compared to this New Delhi, it's a much more smaller. So if you go outside the big, the metropolis, then you notice many small businesses, many small activities, not only agricultures. The way the businesses are done in the India, is not so much, I would say, restricted by the different regulations, which gives this economy very high flexibility. And currently, if you observe the perspective for the India in the growth in GDP, this seems to be the highest in the world. And the India is going, in my opinion, very soon, to currently is a very, important player on the global market, and very soon is going to be comparable size to the China, because facing the pandemic, the China lost the positions, and many companies are going back. They are removing their activities from China, different production facilities, because China is trying to be a very aggressive player, not very frequently playing not fair. And for instance, in India, do you have any Chinese businesses? So China, basically, from the law perspective, not allows Chinese, companies to go there for the activities. Therefore, this is a very splendid time and opportunity to go for Polish companies to India and do the businesses, starting from the exchange of the goods, and there is a project which was triggered by the Institute of Schumann Ford, where I am, a president, which is going to create an integration of different companies in the branches, in the 6 Polish branches, to start the trade with the India in a big scale, because business to business, single businesses are not able to do any efficient business with India. These businesses should be integrated in Poland.
What kind of business Polish companies that are smaller than Indian partners can do with those bigger markets, bigger economy, with way lower labor price and way bigger competition?
Yeah, for instance, a very big, opportunity there is in 6, branches of the economy in India. So a year ago, Prime Minister, the government of the India, removed the restrictions or limits for the investment for the foreign companies, like companies from Poland. So we can now get a share over the 50%. So these branches are like agriculture, food, production and processing. There is, a chemical industry. There is a machinery industry. There is as well, air traffic transportation, especially passengers transportation sector, and as well, different, facilities or equipment for coal mining industry. And as well some area of technology. They are, fortunately, these areas where the Polish, companies are very strong. But we will not be able to be efficient if single companies from Poland are trying to basically work or go into that market, because the India expects in supplies of different goods and commodities, in bulks, in big scale, So therefore, for instance, in the fruits, apples, for instance, the India, is importing much apples. They need that. And, for instance, we have many producers of apples, but we cannot just, single producers cannot supply individually, because
they basically have to pull the resources and think progressively about that. This is something that definitely needs some supervision from the government, or some gathering the resources from the people who knows, because I doubt that the average apple producer from Grudziądz knows about the market in India.
Yeah, there is a barrier for such a small producers to have a understanding and the knowledge about the market in India. Therefore, we need this combination, this integration in the branch. And this, as you said, the model of cooperation with India requires the integration of the companies in the branch, together with cooperation with a Polish government, Indian government, and some big guys, in the business in the India. And therefore, this project I am talking about, the Institute of Schumann Ford triggered, is just based on that model, where, for instance, a producer, as you said, from Grudziądz of the apples, he's not able, to basically run the different, ensure different, the restrictions, phytosanitary restrictions, and this have to be supervised by certain vehicle, the different, standards of the transport, insurance, so that, this producer in Grudziądz cannot, shouldn't take care about, that he will lose his, apples if he will transfer to the India. So this vehicle, we are going to organize such a vehicle which will take care about all these, functions beside the production, which is essential, thing, in efficient, trade with the India.
From the fields in Poland to the shelves, retail shelves in India, there is a long way, but profitable for all interested parties. Professor Zbigniew Krysiak, Warsaw School of Economics and Institute of Schumann Thought. Let's hope that 2021 will mean significant growth in trade between Poland and supercontinent of India. That was it for Poland Daily Business tonight, and please watch us tomorrow, same time.